Thank you for joining us for another rack tip. Today we're going to discuss how to add an external database server to your Parallels Plesk control panel. In Parallels Plesk 8 and above, you have the opportunity to use an external database server to help offload or better distribute the load of database activities from your main Parallels Plesk control panel. It's very easy to set up an external database server. If you go to the Server Administration tab in your Parallels Plesk control panel, click on Database Servers. You'll see here a listing of your current database servers. Currently we have a PostgreSQL database. It's shown as red because this is not installed on this server. And then we have the local MySQL server. What we wish to do now is add an external database server. If you click on Add Database Server and then specify the external server's IP address. Typically you don't have to specify a port number here unless you've changed it. Then you'll see here an option to make this the default. If you want all new sites to preferentially use this new server as their database server, you can click this and it'll be the default automatically. We also need to tell Plesk what user credentials to use to log into the remote system. I'm going to use PSA admin. You can use any username that you choose. And then we have to specify a password. Now before we click OK here, we need to stop what we're doing in Plesk and go over by SSH to our remote database server. Here we're on a system called Demo, and I'm going to log into MySQL. Once we've logged into MySQL, then we'll need to set permissions so our Parallels Plesk system can connect. We'll see here that I'm going to grant all privileges on all databases to the PSA admin user. The IP listed here is that of the Parallels Plesk server. We have a password and it says with grant option. The grant option is very important as it will allow our Parallels Plesk system to add users and permissions to this database. We do that. After adding the grants, we need to flush the privileges. Now we can go back to our Parallels Plesk system and click OK. If you've made a mistake in setting up the user permissions, Plesk here will tell you it cannot connect. Now we see here that we have a new MySQL server listed. If we wish to add a database to this system, we can click here, Databases, DB Web Admin. Now to actually add a database, we can go to a list of domain names. Here we're on racka.net, Databases, Add New Database. We're going to call this Test for Demo. Now if we know here, this is if we go back, you'll see an issue here where when I created this database, this one was on the local MySQL server. But however, we would prefer to have this database on the remote server. So what we can do is just remove this. This time when we add the database, you'll notice here we have the option to add to the remote server. So we can do demo database as a database name. Okay. We can add a user, racka test. Now we'll see here that the racka test user is on the remote database. You have full PHP MyAdmin capabilities for the remote database, just as if you would if it were local. If you click on databases, you'll see here that the database is residing on the remote server. To remove this, it's the same procedure. You click here and just remove selected database, and Plesk will take care of removing the database. So that's all the steps that are required. Most of the issues you'll run into is getting the permissions correct, but if you use the appropriate grant statements, you shouldn't have any permission issues. Thank you again for joining us for a rack tip. We should have more coming soon.